In this section of the course, I've covered array lists and linked lists, which let you manage a list of elements, all the same type. In this video, I want to look at another list type in Java called the enum. The enum type is Java's type to support something called an enumeration. Wikipedia defines enumeration as a complete ordered listing of all the items in a collection. The distinction here is on the phrase all the items. Java describes the enum type as a special data type that contains predefined constants. A constant is a variable whose value can't be changed once its value has been set. An enum is a little like an array, except its elements are known, not changeable, and each element can be referred to by a constant name instead of an index position. An enum, in its simplest form, is described like a class. However, the keyword enum replaces the keyword class. You can name the enum with any valid identifier, but like a class, upper camel case is the preferred style. Within the enum body, you declare a list of constant identifiers, separated by commas. By convention, these are all uppercase labels. One example of an enum is the days of the week as shown here. An enum is ordered by the way you declare the constants. This means that Sunday is considered the first day of the week, and Saturday is the last day of the week, in this example. The enum type is used to declare a limited set of constants, and sometimes there is a natural order to the listing, as in the case of days of the week. Some other examples of possible enum declarations are the months in the year, January, February, March, etc. The directions in a compass, east, north, west, south. A set of sizes, extra small, small, medium, large, extra large. Underneath the covers, the enum type is a special type of class which contains fields to support the constants. I will get into that in a later discussion. You don't have to understand all the internals of an enum to derive the benefits of using the type. Once you get used to how this type works, you will probably find many places to use an enum. They simplify your code and make it more readable in many ways. I've already created a project called enum project, so let's try this out in code. Creating an enum is like creating a new class. A few videos ago, I made a mistake and clicked the wrong folder and ended up with the wrong package name. So don't click the LPA folder, rather right-click on the SRC folder and click New Java Class, but pause here. You can see that enum is one of the options we can select in addition to class or record, and I will pick that. I'll call this dev.lpa.dayoftheweek. Like a class, a new source file is created with the name dayoftheweek.java, and we have the enum type, name and body created for us. And like other types, the enum at this level can use either the public access modifier or none at all. The enum constant names can be anything you want them to be. In this example, I'll create an enum of the short names for days of the week. SUN, MON, TUES, WED, THURS, FRI, SAT. The important thing to notice here is that I'm coding these labels all in uppercase, which is the convention for constants. Note also that this is not a statement, meaning I don't have to end it with a semicolon here. So that's the enum type. They are very simple to set up and quite useful to use in code. Let's see what we can use them for in the main method of the main class. Going back to that method, the first thing I'll do is create a variable with this type, the enum type we've created days of the week. I can assign this a value. This value can be any one of the constant labels in the enum. Day of the week weekday equals day of the week dot TUES. And then I'll print it out. Here I've created a variable called weekday and assigned it the enum value. That's the abbreviation for Tuesday. I've passed that variable directly to the println statement. Now let's see what happens when I run this code. And you can see the output. It printed out the label for Tuesday. We can use two methods on this simple enum type. The first to print out the label, and the second method to give us the ordinal value or order of this constant in the enum collection itself. I'll do that now with weekday. I'll use print for some formatted output and use weekday.name and weekday.ordinal. Let's examine the output. We get the additional line of output. Name from the name method is TUES and the ordinal value is 2. Like arrays and lists, enums start with an ordinal value of 0. The constant with the identifier sun would return a 0. This means that in Java, it's the first element in this list. I will look at that shortly, but this statement means that Tuesday is not really the second day of the week. It's the third because Java starts counting at 0. Next, I want to create a method that returns a random day of the week. Public static day of the week get random day. Int random integer equals new random.next int passing the value 7. var all days equals day of the week dot values. Return all days with random integer in square brackets. The first thing to notice here is this creation of a new random instance. I've used this class in previous videos, but in this case, we're not assigning the instance to a local variable. We're passing a 7 as the bounding integer to next int. This means we don't want anything greater than or equal to 7. The random number returned should be between 0 and 6, and that's because the values of our weekdays are 0 through 6, with Sunday being 0 and 6 being Saturday. I call the next int method from that new instance of random, which will give us that random number. So enum types have a method named values, which returns an array of all the enum constant values. I return the result of that method to a variable I called all days, and I am using type inference with the var keyword here. What I want you to notice is the IntelliJ hint, telling us that we got an array of day of the week back from that method. If you don't see the hint on your computer, watch the introduction to autoboxing and unboxing video about 4 videos back in this section where I showed how to activate the setting. Because we have an array, we know we can use the random number as the index and return the value at the randomly selected position. Okay, good. We have a method to return a random day of the week. Let's test this out. By calling it a number of times repeatedly, I'll wrap the printf statement in the main method in a for loop. I'll loop from 0 to 9. Each time calling getRandomDay and assign the result to weekday. In this code, we're looping 10 times, and each time we call the getRandomDay method, the day we get back will be randomized. Then I am printing the name and ordinal value in the printf statement. Let's try this out. Your output is going to be different to mine, of course, due to the numbers being random. You can see the weekday is changing and that its ordinal value is shown. Hopefully you've got every case there for each weekday. Another thing you can do is test if your variable is equal to one of the constants using the equals equals operator. I'll add that code next in the for loop. If weekday is equal to day of the week dot Friday, then I'll print a message to that effect. In this code, I test if the randomly generated weekday is a Friday, matching it to the enum constant FRI. And if it is, I print found a Friday. This demonstrates the readability benefits of using an enum. It's very easy to see that this code is testing if the day is a Friday. I'll run this a few times so you can see the randomly generated results. Okay, those are some of the basics of the enum type. In the next video, I want to talk about using enums as the expression in a switch statement. I'll also add an extra custom method to an enum, so I'll see you in that next video.